Right, let's get into our major discussion for the day now. It's been 18 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria, and to kick off celebrations, acting President Osinbajo has called on citizens to stop the blame game and be willing to sacrifice for Nigeria to achieve its greatness again.
Osinbajo spoke at the Democracy Day interdenominational church service with the theme, "The Dry Bones Shall Live Again," which took place at the National Christian Center, Abuja. Now, using the story of the Good Samaritan as illustration, the Osinbajo, the Vice President acting right now, said Nigerians must not be like the politician and cleric in the story that looked the other way when they saw the man that was attacked by thieves.
So there's a sacrifice of integrity. Those who are prepared to say, we will not stand for corruption. We will not allow our nation to be raped and stolen from. We will stand against those who are corrupt. There's a sacrifice, because when you speak against corruption, corruption fights back. There's a sacrifice. When you speak against corruption in your place of work, it fights back. So you must be prepared to make the sacrifice. Teachers who are prepared to teach, to make the sacrifice of passing on knowledge to others. There are doctors who are prepared to heal, who are prepared to do all it takes, despite the circumstances, despite the difficulties. The sacrifices that our people must be prepared to make.
Sacrifice,
yes.
Sacrifice, sacrifice.
Yes, well, joining us now from Abuja is Director, Center for Social Justice, Eze Onyekpere. Good morning, thanks for joining us on the show.
Good morning.
Okay, so now the acting president has asked Nigerians to make more sacrifices if Nigeria is to be great again. Is this too much to ask?
I don't think so. It's the usual appeal by leadership all across the generations in Nigeria and even across the world. But I think that the real challenge is to have the leaders to make the sacrifice, to cut down their standard of living, their ostentatious style of living, to be awake when others are asleep, to devise new ideas and innovations to make sure that Nigeria gets up the bootstraps again, and to actually lead by example, because the question of asking us to be patient has always been there, but we've been patient for so many years, and nothing has come out of it. If you recall, way back in 82, 83, the late Sonny Okosun sang "Which Way Nigeria?" So many years after independence, we found it difficult to start. And how long more shall Nigerians be patient? And how many years thereafter? The same gospel of patience, 30-something years is being preached. So I don't know who that gospel should be preached to, whether it's to the leadership or to the late.
All right, Eze, let me even ask in the first place, when there is a call for Nigerians to make sacrifice, what kind of sacrifice really is asked of Nigerians here? Let's understand these basics.
Well, I do not know what the leadership means by that sacrifice, because presently Nigerians are sacrificing enough. Some people are going to bed hungry. Some workers have not been paid and they've not brought down the heavens. Pensioners have not been paid and they've not brought down the heavens. People go for days without electricity. The roads are bad. Inflation is at an all-time high. So we are already making perfect sacrifices. The sacrifice is not coming from the leadership who should lead by example, who should be in the front. Generals don't lead from the back. So that's a real challenge we have. The patience, the sacrifice should come from leadership, and that's not yet forthcoming.
Now, the question I've always asked really, what does it mean to be a Nigerian? Do we really have a Nigerian dream? I recall when the acting president made his speech on Democracy Day, he touched on the Nigerian dream. And you just said, "Which way Nigeria?" quoting Sonny Okosun. Is it a question of not, we've really not defined what we want as a people so that we're able to tell when we really do get there?
Well, Eze, let's make you answer that after we come back from the break. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast, and right now we're going out on TVC Entertainment. Viewers there can switch over and port to DSTV channel 418 and Go TV channel 45.
You can also go on to Free TV 701, StarSat 270 and Star Times 307. Stay with us. Let's get back to our discussion with Director Center for Social Justice, Eze Onyekwere. Thanks for remaining with us. Now, the question I asked before we went on that break as to defining clearly what it is to be a Nigerian first, what is the Nigerian dream, so that questions like which way Nigeria don't even come up in the first place. Is that the fundamental issue here?
I think it is part of it because we've never had a pan-Nigerian dream of where every part and every Nigerian wants to be. You can recall that there's been questions and calls for a restructuring of the country, reordering its economic priorities, and so on and so forth. While some sections of Nigerians are interested in having that, others will say over their dead body. And then you have a leadership that talks about those who gave them 90% vote and those who gave them 5 or 10% vote. So we don't have that pan-Nigerian dream. We don't yet have that leadership that drives the message of unity across every nook and cranny of the country and inspires the passions of the youth so that we can begin to dream big dreams and begin to think of where we should take Nigeria to. All we have so far is sectionalism in leadership and people who do not see Nigeria as their full constituency. And there is no vision document to say this is where we are going so that everybody will buy into it. So that's a huge challenge we have, a leadership that fails to lead.
All right, Eze, in Nigeria certainly has lots of diversity, which is part of the strength that he has. But when we talk about crafting that Nigerian dream, if I have to take it from Ngozi here, we've seen Singapore, we've seen Dubai, we've seen all of these places that sometimes require a one strong man to be able to champion that kind of cause. In Nigeria, do you think Nigeria can come up with that kind of one man who will be able to galvanize the entire country together towards a dream that all Nigerians can be on board with?
That good Samaritan.
Yes, Nigeria, because of its diversity, does not need a strong man. We need strong institutions, strong ideas which everybody can buy into. Because you are not thinking about erecting a dictator, a Leviathan at this time and day. So all we need is a structure of governance, political governance, economic governance, that enthrones merit, that enthrones innovation, that respects the cardinal virtues of honesty, patience, and hard work, that does not celebrate mediocrity, that does not celebrate people who are not intellectually up to date, okay, people who are not intellectually up to date, okay, people who don't even know how to boot the computer and put them in places of leadership. We need digital jet aid, morally upright and smart people in positions, and not simply issuing quotas to people who don't qualify.
But then again, there's the other challenge, or the converse, where they say people deserve the kind of leadership it gets. Can you really divorce the quality of leadership that Nigeria has from the people? Have we ourselves as followers been able to set the standards and say you cannot go beyond the standards?
Well, I don't think it's about the people. If you have looked at a lot of intellectuals in Nigeria talk about the class of 66, who have held Nigeria hostage, the military class. So there have been impositions and superimpositions. The people have not been allowed to actually express themselves in terms of bringing out their best. We've always gone to leadership with our thought of 40-11, and that's why we are not going anywhere. You can't be going in a match where you have Lionel Messi and Ronaldo on the other side, and you go with your third 11. You pack goals. That's why we are poor in economic performance. That's why we cannot manage conflicts. We've been going to governance with our thought of 40-11. This is not our first 11 from independence up till today.
All right, let's put you on hold and let's play this report by the acting president when he was still talking. He also is asking Nigerians to persevere in the face of challenges, and he said this during his Democracy Day speech to the country.
And our promise to you is that we will, with your support and cooperation, take every step needed to create that country of our dreams. We also know that this journey will of necessity take time, but we will not succumb to the temptation to take shortcuts that ultimately complicate the journey. We did not find ourselves in crisis overnight, and we do not expect overnight solutions to our challenges. The most important thing is that we are on the right path, and that we will not deviate from it, even in the face of strong temptation to choose temporary gain over long-term benefit. I firmly believe that we have put the most difficult phase behind us, and we are witnesses to the ever-increasing intensity of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Words that can actually be cast in
stone on marble, if you ask me, because it really captures the present day situation. We're not saying we're there yet, you know, but these are the realities, not painting the picture of this has been done, that has been done, and this has been done. And let's bring in Foladele now.
Take the temptation of taking shortcuts. I like that one.
Yeah.
Foladele, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ngozi. Good morning, Eze. Okay, so this is interesting because when you talk about the Nigerian dream, I heard you talking about that earlier. You don't even want to start that conversation up online.
Okay.
Because someone did, and the responses were very interesting.
Oh, man.
Someone said the Nigerian dream is to go abroad, to be honest. So you would get funny responses. But let's focus on this right now and just find out what Nigerians are saying about the issue of sacrifice. Thank God, says the sacrifice we have been making while the looters keep looting, thieves keep stealing, and we continue to sacrifice. Nestor Okpara says, I disagree with Mr. Vice President, well, acting president in this case. Nigerians have made enough sacrifices. It's time for the leaders to make theirs. Uniport graduate says, this is an indirect way of telling us they'll soon increase fuel price. What the heck? My visa got to be ready before September. Mikhail says, sacrifice, please take the knife and kuku kill us all. Njoku Caleb says, Nigerians have become sacrificial lambs for the elite. Only the poor make sacrifices, the rich ride on white horses. Praise AA says, congratulations Nigeria on democracy. Regardless, we must sacrifice and remain united. God bless Nigeria. Hashtag proud Nigerian. Okay.
That's a good
so
way
that's
to
a positive one.
That's a good way to cap it, I must say.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me quickly take Eze up on the tweet there. Someone said the poor continue to sacrifice and, you know, the rich continue to ride on white horses and we've become sacrificial lambs. What do you make of that tweet?
Well, just to recount that the vice president did say something, and which you people say this was some marble, that we on the right path. I'll put this question back to you. On the right path to where? Have we determined our destination collectively? If you know that we are all heading towards a direction, then we can determine that we're on the right path. We don't have a direction everybody has agreed to, and somebody is telling me we're on the right path. On the right path to where? I perfectly agree that the masses are suffering, while the leadership, they are living like the cows of Basham. They are not making any sacrifice. So this kind of speeches is not new. Babangida said for our future we give tomorrow, yesterday, so many years ago. I have listened to so many cool speeches. They promise 7 on 8, and there is nothing spectacular about being on the right path to nowhere.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to, for the sake of this speech, it was a good way because it struck a chord with Nigerians one way or the other.
And got a lot of reactions.
Getting to the implementation, that is where all Nigerians will have to now wait and see how that translates into. Well, Fola, let's leave you lead now. Let's let you go.
Okay,
now.
so Eze Onyekpere, what would be the right path for Nigeria if you were to draft a vision for this great nation of ours? What would it be?
I'm not qualified to draft a vision for Nigeria. It should be the consensus of the sovereigns, of all the nationalities and people of Nigeria. And we've had various constitutional conferences and occasions where our leaders came together, and most of the times when they agree, another leadership comes and throws it to the dustbin. So it shouldn't be about me. It should be a land of equal opportunity. It should be a land of equity, a land of innovation, and a land where people can fulfill their dreams, not based on where they come from, not based on any quota, but based on their abilities.
And that's exactly what the acting president said. And the fact that he stood well he made that particular Democracy Day speech, it already paints a picture of the urgency that is required and needed. He said, as citizens, you all deserve a country that works not merely for the rich or connected, but for everyone. So you're on the same page with him. Now, what is wrong with us taking it from what the acting president has said and running with it and not losing so much hope?
Now, we need to have our laws and policies reflect this very statement made by the vice president, the acting president. So it's not just enough to make a speech and you say we should run. Where are the laws and policies that back it up? Until we define them, then we can now say let's run. Because you cannot continue with a system that leads to nowhere. What he said may be his dream, which I would like to buy into, but there are no laws and policies and no clear pathways leading to that dream.
All right, Eze Onyekwere, Director, Center for Social Justice. Thank you for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.